Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'd like to talk to you about this new design I made for this UI concept. This is for the movie The Last Samurai, and just wanted to talk to you about what were the main principles I followed with this design exactly. This is one of my favorite method basically, and it's possible to break it down to 4 steps basically, and just wanted to go through these 4 steps, and these are my favorite methods, and just wanted to share this with you. Curious about your opinion as well. Just tell me in the comments, do you think this is useful for you? Shall we do something, couple of videos, these kind of materials as well, or shall we just do like recreations or UI explorations? So the main idea here when I was working on this design itself, it originates from games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Jedi Fallen Order. And I have a couple of like, yeah, this is the Fallen Order. And just when I was looking at this design, which I really like, I just try to break it down. What do I see? How can I work faster with my concepting? Just using what I learned from here. And one of the things I took away when I did a breakdown for it, that you'll need to create basically 4 sections here. And first one, making the background, which can be, for example, the background here is just this navy color with a bit of a darkening on the bottom and on the sides. And the next one is basically decoration line work, which relates to the design you're working on. Because I was working on this Japanese kind of samurai game design, I was choosing to use a lot of these kind of Japanese writings, Japanese symbols, just simple line works, a couple of Japanese writings here as well. And that's basically my line work behind the design. The next step was to create the content itself. So I got a hero in the middle and some sort of inventory for him. And then the last area was navigation and buttons, currency. So this was my final kind of step. And just wanted to kind of like show you these things in a breakdown video. So this is my final design. I ended up giving this frame to the end because without it, it just felt something is missing. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the gold frame. I think it makes it look really special, but also kind of steals the wind away from the design itself. Like without the frame, for example, I only use the gold decoration on the elements that are selected or very important, like for example the selected state of the side navigation and the upgrade button, bit of decoration, ranks here, these kind of things. But I think it does work with the frame. It just gives a bit more character to the design, and I just liked it how it looks. But in general, on the next iteration of this design, I don't know, there is a chance I would lose it. Um, Not sure. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, but let's do a little bit of breakdown what we did here. Just want to talk to you about each of these sections. So first off, I started with the background as always. Oh yeah, just to point out, like this is just a UI exploration. Like obviously, if I would go and work on a design, there's a chance that I need to follow a wireframe. At this point, I'm just really exploring ideas. How would I make this game look? So this is a very kind of like a fantasy, not fantasy, but like kind of like my idea of what would I would like to add as a content to this design. Okay, so the background is very simple. I placed everything into this um, folder here. We got the background. The background itself is just a paper pattern, so nothing else. I just use this paper pattern. I like these. I like I get most of my patterns and textures from the website called Textures Lab. This is a really cool website. I think I point out on every video I made that this is a really good place to get your textures from. So that's where I started, and after I had that, basically I just add is gradient overlay, which is basically gives a bit of darkening to the side. Oh, actually not darkening. It's kind of more like this glow in the middle. Let me just open it. Yeah. So basically this glow in the middle, what we have here. Actually, I wanted to achieve the other opposite. Um, I wanted to lighten it up rather than darkening it. So I added this nice little linear gradient here. A gradient. Okay, so once that's done, I add a bit of darkening, and this is my darkening. Yeah, just on the sides. And then I added this picture here, and so this is just what I found on the internet. And these two samurai was right next to each other, so I basically cut out half, moved to the side, and then the middle I just use content aware fill to just kind of like fill the gap. And yeah, this is how it looks like. I also removed all the colors, so this is just the hue saturation adjustment layer. I reduced the saturation, so it gives you a nice black and white effect. Okay, once that's done, I started to work on my line works, and normally I use just either black or either white line works, but with this design I ended up using this gold pattern on my line works. And this section here is entirely up to you. What do you want to do? I just literally use the shape tool here and just start dragging out basically different shapes, and then removing the fill, and then just using the stroke. It doesn't matter what color I would give here. Let's see, I make something larger so you can see, and then it'll be just like that. I actually moved it out from that. Let me just move it back in here. Where is it? Symbols. Yeah, I moved it to the wrong one. I have to move it inside here. Yeah, and then it'll apply this gold effect to it. So you can play with this. You can rotate it, or whatever you want to do with it to achieve the look you're looking for, and then you duplicate it maybe, and then you got two. So you start building up your shape this way, and you'll end up with something really cool. Okay, so what I did here is just literally that shape, and then at the end, uh, I think in the folders, let me just bring this out a bit more so I can see. Yeah, this one here. So the highest folder has got the pattern overlay, which is just basically this gold color, gold texture I showed you earlier from the Texture Lab website. So that's what I used. I scaled it down to 25%, but that's pretty much it. I also add some text decoration. Now the text decoration doesn't have the gold effect because I felt maybe that's a bit too much. But yeah, I found this font on Adobe fonts, and it's called Kazuraki SB2N, and this really nice. I like it. I like it a lot. So I started to use that. The words I was using from Google Translator, stuff like honor and respect and these kind of things. I also made some Japanese shapes. Uh, so these are all done in Photoshop. Yeah. Um, so these are all shapes, and yeah, I was just playing with the shape builder tool, just to, well, not shape builder tool, but just a shape tool here, and then just started to kind of make my own kind of stuff. But these are pretty simple, so uh, normally I go to Illustrator, but I just stayed in Photoshop because these are very simple shapes. So the line work was done, and the content here, which is really interesting. So I found this picture here from Tom Cruise, And so I got two folder here, one for hero, one for the items. And it needed a bit of work because I'm just gonna move this in a folder so you can turn it on and off. So it was quite saturated, and at that I felt it's too much. So I just kind of like play with it and added some hue saturation, color balance just to remove the colors and stuff a little bit. So you got a bit less vibrant feel. I'm not gonna save this. There we go. And the next section was the items. So when I was making these panels here, um, actually at the end I felt a bit strange about it because I was very happy how the tile itself stands out from the background. So the contrast is really high. You know, the light gray and the dark gray here is just really cool. But I realized at the end that it's causing a lot of trouble for the actual item within the tile to stand out. So in the next iteration, I would probably play with this and just reduce the darkness of this panel itself so the item could maybe pop more. I deliberately choose items which are a bit lighter, like oh, these are all silver, so it stands out really nicely. But yeah, down the road I think that could have been a problem, or would be a problem, so maybe it'll worth to go and do another iteration on this. But I was pretty happy with the result. The inspiration came from these shields, what we have on Tom Cruise, so these kind of interesting stitches and stuff, the gold kind of frames, those are pretty cool. So I was thinking to use that for my design. And let's just go through, let's say left side, large tile, let's see the first one. So I'm just gonna turn these off and then see the base. So the whole shape here is just well, the whole background, the backdrop is just one shape with a bunch of effects on it, layer styles. Um, so this is quite interesting, I think. Um, I got let's see, got the drop shadows, of course, a bit softer one. This is a bit softer, so I got the size a bit higher, and then this one is a bit sharper, well, a lot sharper because the size is 0. And then I added this kind of stony kind of texture to it, that one, and also added a gradient which gives this line here, which is, I think it looks pretty nice and it's suit. Also kind of darkens this area here. I might gonna have a look at it without it. Let's see without it. I might turn it back on. I'm not sure. Color overlay. So I got this color here, which is 2325 with 86%, and then a bit of inner glow, which is basically set to center. So it'll basically lighten up the middle here. And I don't know why I have a bit of tint on it. I'll prefer white. There we go. And I'm gonna turn it off so you can see this was needed for the item, so it will stand out more. And then we got inner shadow, which is basically coming. It's more on the bottom. I'm going to if I remove the size, you'll see how sharp it is. So basically, this is the area it's affected. But I'm gonna go back and just go back to 80, and then I have another one here, which is just basically literally just the edge. It here, yeah. So this is gonna only 12 pixel distance, and then the size is 38. So that's how I build this up. And this gold effect here, it comes from multiple strokes. First, we have the very outside stroke, which is just a 4 pixel dark color 2323 25, the same as the background basically. And that is set to 4 pixel. And the next one, which is comes underneath, it's 6 pixel size, and it has got the pattern, this golden pattern on it. And the very last one is just just a little bit darkening here, just to give a bit more 3D feel to it. And yeah, I didn't really want it on the bottom, so I just ended up using it on the top. That's why it's a gradient, but it's very subtle, 35%. So yeah, I think that works. And yeah, I ended up making this decoration, which these stitches here, you see, it's kind of comes from the shield as well. You can see these ones here. I was playing with not two, but like, let's say, I think maybe I can show it because yes, I think I can show it because I can just literally go here and select this uh, uh, shape here and then just move it, and then you'll see it reveals basically that stitches there. But I think it was just too much. Some people I showed this design to, they felt like maybe it feels like they have got some sort of it wasn't clear what it is, and it felt like maybe something to do with like the item rank or something. So I did go back, I removed the bottom part, and I just left the top, and I think it's working much better now. Added the artwork in the middle, and it basically has got a mask from the bottom, so it will nicely fit into the tile. And then I added the rank itself, which is again is just a base shape with the gold texture on it. And then I use this different font. I don't like to use more than two fonts, but I made an exception with this one because I think it suits for the number. And this is Fleisch and Wurst font. This is also available on Adobe Fonts library. So that's the only one I used. Um, I'm not sure if I don't think I showed this one, but yeah, yeah. So I got this more. There's more decoration, of course. There's the stitches, which is on the top, and then I got this other decoration on the side, and another one just behind the panel here on the top, and then these Japanese letters on behind the item itself. So when I was ready with that, I literally just copy it a couple of times, turn it to the other side, and that's how I created these tiles here. I also made one which is like half the size, and it doesn't have the the lettering in there because I think there was a bit too much. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to actually talk about here is the lock state. So it's basically follows a bit different ways. I removed the gold texture, I removed this dark color theme, and I basically turn it around to white. Use the lock in the middle. When I was doing this lock, I wasn't sure if this is the one I want to use, so I made a couple of them. Some of them had this same decoration coming from the corners, and then they just join in the middle. But I felt like maybe that's too much. There were a lot of stuff I made here, and then I pulled it back at the end because I felt it was just getting too busy. So I stripped it back a little bit. Okay, so this is about the content area, and I was working on the upgrade button. I really wanted to make this gold, and I wanted to add this kind of glowy kind of decorations to it. So let's see how it looks. So I reused the decoration elements what I made for this to the tile here, and the base shape has got quite a few layer styles. Okay, first of all, I used bevel on this design, and a quite high deep. I normally go to about 300 just to make it nice defined. And I also went into the contour and removed the range to 0, so it gives a really nice sharp look at the end. If you would leave this, let's say, to like 100, it will be a bit more rounded, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be really nice and sharp. Yeah, gloss contour, I was using this last one here on the top corner, top row, and linear dodge and multiply 45, a very little darkening. It's yeah, just a little bit. Okay, that's strange. I don't remember. Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. So basically, I had to use this stroke with the gold pattern on it, because if I wouldn't, then this white would had just like basically show everywhere. But now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like it. Let's see if we just remove the size from 6 to. Ah, that's nice. You know what? I like this. I like this. I don't know. Yeah, there's something about it that I really like. I'm just gonna leave it. Let me just zoom out. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I like this way. Yeah, yeah, it's nice. Okay. Next thing is a gradient overlay. So this gradient overlay helps me to create this kind of like cut in the middle. And that's just literally just the gradient layer style, which has got white color right at the 50%, so it's nice and sharp. Yeah, linear dodge 8%, very subtle. Without it, with it, just kind of light the top bit a little bit. And then of course the pattern overlay uses this gold pattern I was taken from the Texture Lab website, scale to 50, and that's pretty much it for this button. And okay, so we got some cool FX placeholder mockups here. So this is just something I made for like just to make it special, like have got this kind of like a fiery kind of stuff coming out from behind the button. I think that would look cool. Now obviously this is just a placeholder mockup, and if let's say whoever I make this for, the client would say that, oh yeah, I really like this, then this would be something I would need to sit down with the tech artist and talk about it, like how could we achieve this with particles or something, because obviously these are just placeholder images, so that's not something they would reuse. They would more likely just to use it as a reference. So just to show, this is my idea, this is my vision for this button, and let's work together to make it happen. And normally they can do it, so it's not a problem. uh, I added a bit of extra decoration onto just behind the upgrade button. Yeah, I'm gonna turn these off, and so you can see, yeah, these ones basically here, these are all shapes. What I did here, let me just place it into a smart object so I can isolate it and go and show it to you. Maybe I can just, yeah, let's see. Yeah, so basically what I did, I used this shape what I had already and started to kind of like turn it around, and then just kind of like make it work on the corners to come up with this shape itself. Um, First I wanted to use it like to be a bit more prominent, but then it wasn't originally meant to be used as a line work. It was more of an actual backdrop panel, but then I felt it was just too busy for that, and I just changed the whole idea to use it as a backdrop, to just rather use it as a subtle decoration and line work behind the actual button. And I think that was a good call. Okay, so this is the button here, and let's see, let's have a look at the header section. Yeah, it's just basically this Japanese lettering there, and the side menu here. Side menu uses this kind of brush stroke, and it meant to be like kind of like an ink, but I really love this gold theme, so I just actually used the pattern over it, and I think that works well with the design. But this is all shapes, I'm not really sure where I got this from. So it's very easy to make brush stroke like this in shape, even if you don't want to use Illustrator. Even in Photoshop, I think it's extremely easy to do. So all you have to do, I think I showed this technique before, but what you do, you'll um, let's just go to ink paint, yeah, and then we'll find some really cool textures there. Yeah, go. Is it loading? Not loading. My internet is not the best. hmm Come on, come on. Okay, so not this one, not this one, not this one. Let's go maybe here. Not. Okay, for example, this one here. Okay, let's say I want to go with this one. I'll don't do that. I'm just gonna go right click and copy image. Obviously, it's better if you download it and use it like that. But let's say we use copy image. I'm just going to create a new file quickly and just gonna place it in here. And once this done, I would probably open a level adjustment just to make it the dark darker, the light lighter, just kind of like this. Yeah, actually I want to go until the middle it fills up with black. So now with that we have this, you can use the magic wand and just kind of like press on the white and then right click, select inverse, and then while you're on the marquee tool you just right click and make word path uh, 0.5, enter, and then you just come down here and make a solid color. It'll create you a shape, right? So now you have got this, and this is pretty good. You can work with this. You can just kind of like make it like straight. Like for example, for me, I cut out the top bit. So you literally just go with the shape tool on the actual shape here, hold down Alt key. So that's going to take away from this design here. And there you have it. Yeah. And then you can just basically go back, press A for a selection tool, and then Alt to duplicate this cutout and just move it down wherever you want it. Like let's say here. And then you have a double cutout. And that's it basically. And then you can still go back and move this around the way you want it. Yeah, it's that simple. So that's how I did this design here. I also use this placeholder kind of fire in the background here. I also made this divider, which is basically again coming from this decoration element. So I just reused it and just altered the side here, or the two ends. And yeah, that was pretty much it. The idea was to use the selected state. It uses I think it's a different font weight, and also using the Japanese fonts directly underneath, but something subtle. So if I would remove this fire, you will see it's more defined there. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, let me just put this back. There we go. All right. The currencies are very simple. You know, it's just the shapes I did earlier. That's it. What's very interesting, I think, is the gold frame. And the way I made it is just I got a backdrop and I have a pattern. So they work together. Let me just remove the pattern and then just show you. This gold frame is literally just one massive shape and then cut out part of it so it becomes this border and or frame, and then I just applied a stroke pattern. I could use normal pattern. I don't know why I use stroke pattern. I have no idea. It would do the same if you just use normal pattern. But the point is that you'd use the gold texture we seen earlier, and then that's it really. Then we applied the pattern itself, this Japanese kind of like the waves or sea kind of stuff, and that's pretty much it. What did I do here? Let's see. So I use color dodge. When I use color dodge, I always go into the layer style and remove transparency shape layer. I just always remove that and I use fill opacity 30. Um, yeah, it doesn't really show it here, but it just gives a more natural look if you do that. Okay, so this is how this design came together, and I want to show a couple of interesting things I think with this design, what I just recently started to do with this mechanic here. So I was thinking like if you can do this, like how cool that would be just to save myself a bit of time and just do templates from this. And that's what I did here. So I literally but you know what? I'm gonna talk about this on the next video because it's already 30 minutes. So I'm gonna elaborate on this a little bit. How would I go from here, create a template which you can use it? But the idea is very simple: making backgrounds and saving them as styles, and then creating line work, saving them as patterns, and then you can combine them, and you would have you could build a scene a lot faster. So you just only need to change the colors, maybe the pictures you would have. I mean, not maybe, but definitely the pictures that you have there, unless it's a generic one. Uh, but with small changes, you could do really cool designs very, very, very fast. And this is all for this video. I hope you like it. And please let me know in the comment section what do you think. And don't forget to subscribe, please, if you haven't. It really helps the channel to gain more visibility, and I truly appreciate that. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, guys, and see you soon. Bye.